What is going on, everybody? In today's video, I have the privilege of interviewing Vic DeCaro, whose EXP team, I'm on it, is on track to do over 100 million this year. And in this video, we're basically just going to talk about why she left a 100% brokerage to join EXP Realty. And we're going to try to keep this video pretty short. So we're going to try to keep it about 30 minutes and basically just tell you everything you need to know about EXP Realty. And not only that, I'm going to put my cell phone at the bottom of this video. So if you have any questions about joining EXP Realty, and actually it makes a big difference if you join with us or if you just join by yourself. If you join with us, there's a lot more incentives and reasons to join with us. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But I'll put my cell phone here. So just feel free to reach out with any questions, or if you want to set up a quick time to chat with myself and potentially Vic as well if we have the time. So that being said, here's Vic. And yeah, just why don't we just start with, why would you join why would you leave a 100% brokerage where you're not paying any splits or anything to join EXP Realty of all places? EXP Realty? I mean, come on.
Right. Well, Jeff, thanks for having me. And that is a great question. People ask me that all the time. And the biggest thing is really, I was comfortable. I was there for 20 years and I really didn't have any intention of leaving there. Right. It was doing very well. But it was the people that I came across that was actually at EXP that I wanted access to. And as I saw their business, what they were doing, the opportunities that they were building for their businesses and their lives and their families, it opened up my eyes to a new opportunity. And so it was really, for me, the number one thing was access to these people that were way farther ahead than me that I could collaborate with. And the way the EXP model is, it allows us to really be aligned where they benefit off of my production. So they have interest in helping me grow my business and move it to the next level. So that was the biggest
thing. That makes sense. And that's a little bit different than some brokerages, because some brokerages, it's a very competitive type of thing. Like you see someone else at the brokerage and they might not want to help you out and that type of thing. Who are some of these people that you wanted to align yourself with?
Right. So I was at a conference in Vegas and I met with Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, and Jeremy Larson, three very, very successful business guys out in California. And Dan and Kyle, what I really love is they're in the same market together in San Diego. And they're actually, they were competitors. Kyle was with an independent brokerage and Dan was in Gary Keller's top 100. He was going to open up one of the Metro centers down there, at least two of them I think he was going to do, and ended up deciding to go to EXP right before he did that, just, because he saw the opportunity and his business blew up and he's so glad that he, made the move over. But anyhow, when I was sitting down and talking to them, my biggest pain point that I was sharing with them was that for 5 years straight, I was pretty much stuck at around 40 million, which 40 million, I mean, it's not anything to sneeze at, right?
That's pretty good. 40 million. A lot of people would like to do 40 million.
Well, yes. And so, and that was it. I was very happy at 40 million, but I kind of felt like it was stagnant at some point. And as I watched other people in the industry grow, I started to wonder, what's going on? How come I'm not? I don't want to stay too comfortable, right? It was a great living, but there was something more. And the real question that I was asking myself is, how will I grow, and who do I look to get this information to grow? So I would go to conferences, I have coaches, things like that. But even then, I felt like I would get certain information, and then I'd have to wait either for the next call in order to get anything more, or I would have to wait till the next conference. And the big thing was with these guys, I could call them and, have access to them at any point that I needed, right? So I could say every Monday we have a Monday mastermind, we share information there. But if I was working on something that I wanted to develop even more, I can just call them and they can share, what works for them and what doesn't work so that I don't make the same mistakes.
So what are you on track on? Just generally speaking, what is your team on track to do this year? We're in the Washington, D.C. market. So what are we on track to do this year?
Yeah. So before we jump to what we're doing this year, when I came with those guys, I was 40 million, right? But that 1 year I ended up at 38 million. So the first year I joined EXP, all I wanted was to just break 50 million. And in 2020, we did 55 million. And so I was very excited. That was the first time in a long time. And it was COVID year and all that. So we did 55 million. And this year we're on pace to do over 100 million.
So you basically doubled it in weird. And a lot of that, is probably due to having access to people because those people that you mentioned that in the San Diego market, Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, their businesses right now I mean, they're over 100 million. I think Dan Beer is probably over 200.
Oh, well,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't even know where he's at.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about that. When I first met Dan and Kyle, their businesses were really growing, and I was so impressed. I'm like, wow, you're almost 200 million, and growing from there. And like in 2020, they did. I think Dan's numbers were closer to 300 million, and now this year he's on pace to do 500 million.
That's so insane. I mean, I don't know how many realtors are doing over 500 million a year, and this is like full service sales and everything like that. Right. I mean, this is not just like new construction type of stuff, right?
Right. I mean, and Jeff, the beautiful thing about all of this is that it's just not them either, right? So in our group, they started the Fast Forward movement. In that group, there are a whole bunch of other top producers in all different parts of the country where they're bringing their teams over, and we're all collaborating together. And the group as a whole is all growing. And like Dan, Kyle were people that, really helpful giving us all this information, but they've also brought us together with these other folks that are willing to share and collaborate. And so, we have a lot of people in our group that's doing over 100 million, a lot of people doing 200 million, right? So like at first it was like, wow, we got one or two. No, we got like tons of people in our group that is doing that kind of production.
And that's something we're going to talk more about the different aspects of EXP. But if you send me a text and you want to, you just want to have some more questions about EXP, in our group specifically, we have access to these people. So basically every Monday we get on a call with them, and you can just literally just ask them questions, just like kind of the way Vic and I are talking right now. So that's one benefit to kind of joining with us, as opposed if you just sign up with EXP under anybody, you're not going to have the same access.
Yeah, that Monday mastermind is priceless. I'm telling you. Like, so when they started it, we had about maybe 30 to 40 people, and then it grew to 50 something. Now every Monday we have over 200 people on there, and it's very well planned out. There's topics that can be asked ahead of time so that we can go through and maximize that hour. But every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, it's amazing.
And that's one thing I liked about EXP was like kind of the training aspect. So I've paid for a lot of coaching just from the agent side, investing side, marketing side. You've paid for a lot of coaching. EXP, in a sense, it's almost like a coaching program with the amount of coaching they have, because I mean, this is just a free call. This is cost you nothing just to have access to $100 million producers. I don't know how many companies can say that, but additionally, just every week, I think there's so much training. There's like 50 or 60 hours of live training it's not just from like random people that are just signed up with a brokerage. These are the top agents that are giving you live training, whether it's how to list more, how to go from like 20 listings a year to 50 listings a year, how to hire these people. There's so many different topics that are covered.
Right.
And, I came from an independent brokerage, and I always tried to go to different events and training and read books, but we literally had no training whatsoever. And so it's almost, you can almost say this is like a coaching company that people would pay. Some people I've paid tens of thousands. I've probably paid 50 or maybe not 100, but I've paid tens of thousands of dollars for coaching. So if you're looking, from a mentorship coaching aspect, it's a pretty good option.
Right. And I should add that locally in our market here, there's like all these little subgroups, right? So we have the Capital Growth Pioneers group, in which, we have training there. And it's really nice because some people, they say, this is a cloud brokerage. Well, do you have anything local? That's where we're trying to break out into subgroups and do local groups where people get together. We do happy hours, some trainings and things that, what's going on locally in the market and how does it impact people's business. So we do that. We get like the top producers in locally here in the DMV area, Northern Virginia. We brought in some really big hitters, with Megan Foss. We got 2 luxury agents that came on over recently. So just so many different, really, really great, groups of people coming in that we can all learn from. So, and
what's interesting in the DC market, there's really not that many agents yet. By the time you're watching this video, there might be more agents, but in the San Diego market, which you could kind of compare to DC, it's I don't know the exact percentage, but it seems like there's a ton of people that have realized the potential and all the incentives and just the networking and just get to the next level, because a lot of agents they just want to take their business to the next level. Let me ask you this: when you were, because you probably heard about EXP probably a while ago. Were you hesitant about joining? A lot of people say that they're like they're not very clear about EXP.
Yes. So I had been approached before about EXP. I didn't pay really close attention. I thought it had some cool factors about it, but my biggest concern was that, it wasn't really developed and built up in our market in Northern Virginia. So I was like, I don't know, is it worth really making the move on over? And it was only after I met with those guys and seeing that I had access to them and the collaboration that was involved. And they showed me some of the technology that's in there, and just the business model itself made perfect sense to me. And, they didn't know at the time, but after I left that lunch meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm totally in. But I wanted to test the waters a little bit by challenging them on asking some things along the way and seeing if they could deliver. And every step of the way they did. And so it was a no-brainer for me. And leaving 100% commission, that's harder to do when all of a sudden now you have to pay, 80-20 split.
Yeah.
Well, there's a cap there. So that was my biggest concern, was just locally here, there was no presence. But Dan and Kyle started the San Diego market along with Mary Maloney. They really kind of came together and started that San Diego EXP market, and it blew up. And so I see it as an opportunity for us here to really grow it here.
Because it's a very, when you look at the business model on a really high level, you're like, this is a complete no brainer. Is it? I've had a lot of agents that are actually experienced that have been like, is this even real? Like, the stock options, revenue share.
Yeah.
Because the founder of EXP, he was at Keller Williams, and I think his goal was and Keller Williams is a great company. They have great education product. I love their education. I've read their books like a million times. But his whole thing was to really try to give agents more equity, more incentives, because it's really, let's be honest, it's really the agents that are doing most of the work here.
Right. Well, that's it. Glenn's model, Glenn Sanford is our CEO, the founder of the company, and he basically put the agent first. And that's really what, when this business is all about that. Like when you go to consumers, they don't always know who the brokerage is, but they certainly do know who the agent is, and that's who they like to follow, and that's who they are really getting in business with. And so Glenn figured that out real early, and so he makes the front and center, not the EXP brand or model. It's really about
and that's a big thing. That's a big thing with a lot of agents that are at independent brokerages or agents at different places. They don't want to give up their brand because everyone has their like little unique brand. And with EXP, you basically keep your same brand. All you have to do is just basically say powered by EXP, because some brokerages you have to like just everyone kind of looks the same and has the same type of marketing, but EXP is a little bit different with that.
Yeah, it's like the best thing for independent brokerages, because you come on over, you don't have to worry about the liabilities and things that might come along with, having that EXP takes that for you. And then you have access to a lot more areas. We're now global, we're international. Yeah. So just a lot of,
Because I've talked to some people and they're like, I want to start, I want to expand. Everyone's moving to Florida, right? So they're like, I want to expand to Florida. Well, with EXP, there's, I don't know how many different countries, but I've heard of agents in like South Africa, or I don't know, different places all across the world, different states. If there's an agent that in Oklahoma or wherever it may be, you can bring them onto your team, or you can bring them on the same way as if it was your own brokerage as an agent. But I actually meant to, we talked a little bit about commission splits. So let's just quickly talk about commission splits. So it's 80-20 for a certain amount of time.
Right. And then you cap at 16,000, and that's about 80,000 in, GCI. And so when you get to that, you have the opportunity to earn that back in stocks if you hit the coveted Icon Award, which means that you have to sell another basically 20 transactions, another 20 transactions from there. And then you can earn back all of that 16,000 in stocks, which is amazing because the stocks has grown so much. And I've been with the company now under 2 years, and I've hit Icon twice, which means I've got the opportunity to earn back that 16,000 twice.
So it's basically like it's almost like a 100% brokerage in a sense, because you've gotten that all back.
Better than 100%, because not only do I get the money back, the stocks grow. They grow way more than it's like I'm getting paid to be at EXP. That's what it feels like.
And that's what a lot of people need to realize, is that the most you'll ever pay at EXP is basically right around 16K, because a lot of people come to EXP just because they're paying, like, I was just talking to a brokerage and they're like, it was like 30,000 that you'd have to pay because there was no cap. You just had to keep paying, this amount. And we kind of did the numbers at EXP. The most you'll ever pay is right around 16,000. Right. So that for a lot of people, some people are paying their broker like 20, 30, 40, $50,000.
Yeah, some of them don't even have caps. That's right.
Yeah.
What I was going to say also is that they also have for bigger production teams and such, they have reduced caps too. So if you're on a team just like you know, Jeff, you can do 8,000 cap. And then for other people that's like on the mega teams, they're like 4,000 caps. So there's a lot of lower caps as well. So that's nice that EXP, as they saw the growth of the company and different needs for different size teams, they incorporate that in too.
Gotcha. So the next thing a lot of people talk about, and this is one of the more controversial aspects of EXP, is the revenue share. So, and we obviously both know people with substantial revenue shares. I don't know if we're allowed to say like kind of what they're making per month. If you want to say it, that's fine. I don't know if we're allowed to say it, but that's one incentive, because a lot of people at their brokerage, they might, it's not like you have to be a recruiter, but if you spend a few hours and you want to just invite a friend over to your brokerage, you can make a substantial amount, really more than you'd make with a lot of like, even I have a lot of rental properties, and you know, I'm making, you know, if I bring in an agent, I could be making substantially more than just having a rental property, which obviously is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah, it's a great passive income opportunity. And I'll tell you, for me, what was so amazing about the whole revenue share thing. So before I even joined EXP, I really like to help people. I like to mentor people. People are coming to me for help. I'm on advisory boards, things like that, where I'm not getting paid for it, but I do it just because that's who I am. I like to share. I like to collaborate. And I like to just help people in general. So the revenue share thing is like, as you continue to help people, they are attracted to you. So I don't look at it as recruiting. It's more like agent attraction, where they're learning from you, so they come on over. And when they come on over, instead of just doing it like I've done in the past, I can continue that, but yet make bonus money on the side. And, you know, and it really is just, now you're in business with these people, you become like partners, which makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
I want to see them succeed, and, you know, we're all like celebrating together. So it's amazing. But I do want to add, like, based on what you were saying about how, you know, as people are coming over and they're unsure about it, and they're like, oh, I don't want to be a recruiter. They don't have to be. It's just like that. You don't have to do any of that. And you could still, and not even worry about the rev share, but the rev share is really there as a huge benefit. And, you know, we don't talk about each individual, what they're making, but I can tell you there's many, many people here in our group that, because of revenue share, have retired their spouses, right? They've been able to do a lot of amazing things, like buy multi-family homes for rentals. They bought, you know, things that were on their bucket list, got to do trips. So a lot of amazing things that came out of it. And, you know, that's cannot be taken lightly. It's real. Like retiring a spouse, that is huge.
Because most real estate agents, they'll just work forever. That's what they say, is like real estate agents, they just work and then they die. So this is almost like a retirement plan. Just by being a successful agent, just in your spare time, you might say, hey, you should check this out. This opportunity is really like nothing that any other brokerage really offers out there. And I mean, most brokerages, if you bring somebody over and they're successful, you know, you might, you know, I heard one guy say, you know, you might get a Starbucks card, or you might get, you know, some type of flat fee, but to bring, I'll show a chart of this on the video, but basically there's 7 different levels. So if you bring someone in, you can make money off them. And then for really 7 different levels. So that's pretty substantial. It's not just like one person you bring in and then whoever else they bring in, it doesn't matter. It goes 7 levels deep. So you can really be making a significant amount of money. Just telling a few people about the business model.
Yep, definitely. So,
all right. Well, next up, we have the stock equity plan. So let's talk just a minute or two about the stock equity plan.
Sure. So that's an awesome thing too, where you really can, from every commission check that you earn, you can treat it like a 401k, and you take 5% from your commission and you get a 10% discount on EXP stocks, which has grown tremendously for me in doing that. You just kind of like set it and forget it. And every commission, 5% is deducted from your commission, and it's bought at a 10% discount of EXP stocks.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I like getting 10% on my money. I mean, to buy, and also keep in mind, EXP Realty is the fastest growing real estate company in the history of stocks, I guess, or real estate. So to be a part of purchasing stock at a discount, and you don't even think about it. Every deal you do, it just kind of goes into the commission, and then you check your stock plan and you see it's accumulating. So it's a pretty good incentive. A lot of brokerages might not offer that.
Yeah.
as far as the technology and lead generation, so EXP, we have this kind of this cloud campus type of environment. It's kind of cool to go in there, but for it's good for like newer agents. If you need to get quick access to a broker instead of like driving to the office, setting up a time, that type of thing, you can just log into your computer and go directly to the state office, whichever state or country you're in, and have really direct access to the broker for any questions, as well as there's like a technology team and just different people that are available to help you out.
Yeah. And what's really great about that is we are able to invite people to come in as guests. So anybody that's watching this, if they're interested in checking it out, we can send you a link to be invited to the EXP world as a guest temporarily, so you can check it out and see how cool the Virbela system is with the virtual world. It's really
and a lot of these people, I think Stanford University and a lot of other just really tech savvy types of organizations are taking note of this, and I think they're incorporating it into their own learning environment in different capacities. Right. We also get KV Core with EXP, so typically you pay about $500 a month for that. I haven't used KV Core too much, but a lot of people do swear by it. Some brokerages offer it, some don't, but that's just basically included, when you join EXP.
Yeah. So the thing that people should know is you can use whatever CRM you want. The beauty of it is that EXP offers that at no charge to agents. So you can go on in and do it. Our team, we continued with the CRM we had because we just wanted to kind of go on in and have, quick transition as possible. And at some point we may switch over, but the beauty of it is that you're not required to do anything. You can do it with that CRM, which is free to you, there, or you can use your own, which we continue to use our own.
Right. So we basically have the founder of the company. He's a technology billionaire. So as far as technology goes, EXP is a pretty forward-thinking company. And just a quick note, again, if you have any questions or you want to, just learn more about EXP, my cell phone is right below. So just shoot me a text, and you can either text me your questions, or we can just set up a quick time to chat with myself and potentially Bic about learning more about EXP. So I wanted to ask you this, Bic. So you were a very successful agent, 100% brokerage. Why wouldn't you just start your own brokerage? Like that's what a lot of people think. Why wouldn't you just start your own brokerage, Bic DeCaro and Associates brokerage? I mean, that seems like a path that a lot of people try to go down.
Yeah, I think, what's interesting is when I first got into real estate, that was something that I thought was the next logical step when I got to a certain point. But I quickly realized just, being out there selling, the way that team models work today, you don't really have to become a broker, right? And with EXP, the way that all the tools and systems and things that they have, it's less of a headache for me to just slip on in and just do, have EXP really bear the brunt of all of the work, the liability, everything else. And then I, as my team comes over, we're like a mini brokerage under EXP. So that's the best of all worlds. And, EXP also offers all things that I couldn't offer right away. Like they had healthcare, they have, the rev share, they have stocks and things that I couldn't do right away. It would take me a really long time to build that.
Yeah. So you can just plug yourself into the system. And if you're like an independent brokerage, you could expand your brand worldwide. If you were an independent brokerage and you tried to expand your brand into like, let's say France or, some other country, that would be incredibly difficult and just it wouldn't make any sense.
That's right.
With EXP, it's one brokerage. So you can just start adding agents the same way as if you had your own brokerage. And not only that, I heard actually Jay Kinder talking about this, and he was saying, there's a lot of ego involved in real estate, obviously, but he was saying, let's say you start your own brokerage. In the best case scenario, and I don't know the exact specifics on this, but he was saying like you could sell your brokerage for like 2 to 3 times EBITDA, some, in that ballpark. But if you joined EXP and you probably brought on the same amount of agents, you'd be making substantially more with rev share and everything like that.
And it's ongoing versus once it's almost like it's done unless you have like small royalties or something. But the rev share is ongoing forever. Really?
Yeah. So people are making substantial amounts of just residual income every single month just from agents they brought on, even agents they don't know that might have brought someone on, that's brought someone on, that's brought someone on. So there's a lot of potential with that. One thing I also meant to mention was the referral group. So what's cool about EXP is if you're just a local brokerage, you might not know agents. And like, I actually literally had an agent in Idaho, and they were referring me a deal in DC and vice versa. For some reason, I got a deal really far out west, and there's a Facebook referral group. It's called Workplace, and so there's a lot of referrals that are going on because it's such a worldwide and nationwide type of brand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know I think we covered a lot of stuff. I mean, like I mentioned, if you have any questions or you wanted to set up a quick time to chat, just shoot me a text. My cell phone is below. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much EXP. That's pretty much EXP in a nutshell. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been an amazing company for us. It's more than what I expected. I have to say, pleasantly surprised. At first it was a little bit of a learning curve, just seeing it was like fire hose coming at us, so many different things. So we're not even tapped into all of the perks and benefits that we have at our disposal. But I will tell you that the group that we're with is really just the core of what it is. And beyond our group, there's all these other people that we have access to that within the company has just been amazing. So
yeah.
Let's move for us.
And so there's a ton of collaboration that goes on. And I also meant to mention, if you were to start your own franchise, let's say you're with a different brokerage, you have to pay a substantial amount to own a franchise in a different area. With EXP, you can just join. You can have agents join you from wherever it may be. So there's no massive like franchise fees or anything like that. They can just join under you. There's very limited liability from your standpoint because it's all under the brokerage. So.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks, Jeff, for doing this.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for thanks for doing this. And contact information is below. You can also drop questions in the comment section, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.